So one of the things we've been doing is, and I think the last meeting we started to, we had some preliminary ideas of what the outside of the building may look like. And there's a number of different directions we can go with the architecture. And this is kind of where we settled is, we really want to be respectful of the context that we're in. This is in on three sides of this site is a residential community, so we want to be respectful of that context. And so it really kind of moved towards a sloping roof concept. Not all of the roof will be high slope roofs, some of it will be low slope roof, like what you would find on a big box store. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast with the size of the building. But around the perimeter, there'll be some sloping roofs, which we think is a very good fit for a residential neighborhood. And then we're looking at, so this material right here is brick, and what we're trying to do is make sure we have a brick base all the way around this building. And that's really, not only does that look nice, but from a long-term maintenance and longevity durability standpoint, I think that's very important. And then up above that brick material, we're looking at metal siding material, which again, nice, a little bit more economical, so being respectful of the budget, but also very durable and long-lasting material. So this is the view of the front entry. On the left, this is the main entry here. Get my laser pointer to work. This is the main entry in the middle. On the right, you remember from the plan, on the lower level, this is the administration area. So it's set up so that the front desk person will have a view of those front doors and be able to control those front doors. So it's nice layout from a security standpoint. The left side is the gym, and again, we're looking at putting a sloping roof on part of that facility. And then the media center, I think somebody asked about the media center was these windows up here are that's the outside wall of the media center on the second floor. I think Jason, if you were to flip to the next slide, there's we back out a little bit and you can look at the site from a little bit farther away. And with the highway being right down here in the left corner, and then Mill Street running north and south in front of the site. We were just looking at that previous view, standing right here at this intersection looking at the front door. So you see those sloping roofs that I mentioned kind of around the perimeter of the classroom wing. And the playground back here inside the L, south facing playground, also situated so there'll be some morning sun. The softball fields off on the east side, and then the parking lot, which is on the north side of the building. The parent drop is this pathway right here. We spent a lot of time and looked at quite a number of different concepts to how to configure that parent drop so that it's efficient and it's safe. And we've looked at putting it across the front of the building. We've looked at splitting it into a couple of different locations, and ultimately what we landed on was running it across the north side of the building and then using this area of grass right here as kind of a queuing area after school for parent pickup, parents coming in cars from in that lane. And then in inclement weather, it's also adjacent to the gymnasium, so that students could potentially queue up inside the gym and be out of the weather, but then still have easy access out to the car. And then the bus loop bisects the site to the east and separates the athletic component from the K-3 school part of the site. So students exiting buses would come along the north side of this classroom wing and be able to enter into the commons, or could potentially access directly into the pods from some of the other entries that go out on the playground. So there's a number of different options there, and we're really getting into the management decisions. Any questions so far? Yes, ma'am. Yes, the site will be fenced. It's kind of funny you asked that. I asked our graphics team to put the fencing in, and I had some real trouble getting it in, and now it doesn't even show up very well. You know it's there, but we're looking at right now at fencing kind of this part of the site along the back side of the bus loop, and then coming back here and returning to the building to capture that playground area, and potentially, again, there's some budgetary considerations, but potentially fencing the athletic component of the project as well. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Other questions? So this is a view of the playground. So the dark color represents a hard surface, and we've had quite a bit of discussion about what kind of play features and those kind of things will be part of the playground. There's actually some things that are, one of the things we talked about was bringing some color into that playground, pathways, maybe a map of the United States. Those are some things that we're looking at doing and not in the rendering yet. There'll be some more educational components as part of that playground, a little bit more color and life to that. And then this color represents kind of the soft play area with some play structures, and there's a desire to have the potential to separate this playground so that the younger age groups can have their own play area and be separated from the older kids, but also at the same time allow that to open up and flow back and forth. There's also, you can't see it in this view, but down in the right corner there's a fairly large expanse of turf grass play area as well. Questions? Yes, sir.
One of the ideas early on was to have some kind of a walking path. Did that get?
That's going to be a grow. That's going to go around the perimeter of the athletic complex and grow.
There is. That's correct. The Grove site does have a walking path planned around the perimeter. We also have we do have a walking path. This kind of snake wrapping around that asphalt is intended to be a walking path. And there's some area of turf on the northeast corner of the building. We're also looking at potentially putting a walking path around that as well. Yes, sir.
Your solar panels, what do you expect to get out of them, or what's your expectation?
So the size of that array is actually driven by the Oregon law, which requires a project of this scale to spend an amount equivalent to 1.5% of the budget on renewable energy. And what that works out to is about 80 kilowatt array. And what we're showing here for solar panels is actually quite a bit less than what we need to get there. It'll take that entire section of roof and probably then some. It works out to roughly 6,000 square feet. We still have some more study to do on figure that out, but around 80 kilowatts is what we're expecting.
Could you go back to the full campus? I just want to make one comment because this was brought up during the community conversations, and that is if you look at the beyond the softball fields, you don't see any sycamore trees, and that's not accurate. 2 trees will need, there's a dead walnut tree that's going, and then there are 2 trees on the extremities that will have to go to accommodate the softball fields. But 6 trees will stay.
So I was just going to say, so one of the things we're also looking at, one quick thing.
Well, in your rendering there, I mean, there's a sidewalk all the way around the thing, right?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, and the curb. And
Yep. And actually, Anderson Perry, the civil engineer that's working for Architects West, was out yesterday measuring exactly how many curves we're going to have to cut, move, or retain.
It looks like the perimeter, there's a pretty significant walking path that will be built in by just the sidewalk and curbing.
Yes, sir, that's correct. And actually, Kevin and I have been meeting with the city of Milton-Freewater specifically, going through all of those components of the site plan. What's the city expect? What do we need to put in? But I think this has been credit to the district and to the team. We recognize the value that this facility will provide to the community. This is the community's building. Every conversation, somebody's asking, how do citizens get onto the playgrounds after hours? How do we get citizens into the building to use the gymnasium? How do we make it easy for that to happen? How do at Grove, how do we get people to get in? Amy was talking today, every day somebody at Grove is using the soccer after hours. And we want to make sure this is for that. So just know that as we get into this is something that is front and center for us in every decision that we're making. Is we recognize the value that this investment the district has made, that the community has made for the district. We recognize the value that provides. And all of these facilities are intended for community use and access during hours, of course, for your kids, but of course after hours and on the weekends. Community's got to be engaged. We're excited about just making sure that that's a part of the decision. Yes, ma'am.
Is there ample parking in the area that we have for staff, faculty, and for functions?
Correct, yes. And so we actually met with the city and went through the parking question. I think if I recall off the top of my head, there's 58 or 62 spots at the facility itself. And then we're also going to have some improvement at the district office location, and then street parking around the facility itself. So in our conversation with the city, they thought that was more than adequate for parking for the facility. We're actually just talking parking at the New Grove site today. And in the event that there's a soccer event down there, making sure that we've got enough parking either on site or around the perimeter of Grove to accommodate as necessary as well. So.
The, following up on that parking, I don't know if it's our land or not, Rob, as part of this project, but across the street, right next to the river there.
Yeah, there is a little sliver there just on the east side. The district does.
Next one.
Yeah. Up in there is parking.
Yep.
There was existing dirt parking there. Is that still ours?
That is the district property, correct. And we went down the rabbit hole to try to figure that out, and we just kind of pulled back a little bit, focusing on that. That is district property, long term. We envision that probably being parking or something to that extent, depending upon the need.